Joined now by our manager, Kevin Foster. Kevin, we sit here as 2022 draws to a close. It's been an incredible year on and off the pitch for us. So we're just going to have a quick roundup of what's been an emotional year. So I think we should start with what's been a difficult last couple of weeks for us. So I'll leave it over to you with that one.
Yeah, I think most people around the country have probably felt the same in terms of the frustration of the last 2 or 3 weeks in terms of getting a game going. The first week, obviously, with Gills, was unfortunate that it didn't go ahead. But then this week, it was touch and go, but probably the right call was made this week in terms of it not being able to get played. And so, yeah, we look forward to hopefully getting some games in and getting going again in January, really.
No, I think it's fair to say our season so far has been stop, start when it comes to actually getting games played. We struggled with that in the first few months of the season, then start to get a bit of momentum with regular games and then sort of start over Christmas. Do you think that's going to be difficult for us in the new year in terms of going in with no momentum, or is it just a fresh reset for everyone?
I think it'd just be a fresh reset. It's frustrating, really. The weather situation can't be helped by people, but then we've also had 3 games postponed on us where other teams haven't been able to, fulfill sides, which obviously has, an impact on us and us being able to play games and get momentum going. So it's, when you add in the postponements and the 3 weeks of games being called off with other people playing, it's a little bit tough. But that's the nature of where we are. That's the nature of where the league is, and it's something that we have to deal with.
Now, as we look back at the league and our year so far, I think it's fair to say the start of this sort of calendar year was sort of dominated by our run to the FA Women's National League Plate final. Some incredible wins there. Obviously, Portsmouth in that roller coaster of a game, which went to penalties. The great win at Sporting Cowser, and then that final up at Solihull. How important was that, do you think, us as a club to get that cup run at that stage of our journey as a club?
I think it's really important. I think it puts us on the map a little bit in terms of people understanding that we're not here just to, take part and participate. We want to push up the league. We want to play with the highest teams, and we can compete against the best teams in the league above. And hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to play a championship side and see how we get on with that as well.
Now, I think one of the things that has been a feature of this year is our continued ability, as you mentioned it there, to do well against teams in Tier 3 in the division above us. That Portsmouth games right at the start of last season, just talk us through it, the roller coaster of emotion that was that game and then that penalty shootout.
Yeah, I'll probably just about calm down from it now and get it out. It was an unbelievable game. And it probably, highlighted just how strong we were. That was probably the start of us sort of looking at us and going, do you know what, we're on a good pathway here and we've got good groups and we're building something because, we went 2-0 up and then it was 2-2 and then we were 3-2 down with like 20 seconds to play and it 3-3 and then went into penalties and it's anyone's game, but I think we missed the first 3 and ended up somehow coming out of it something like 13-12 or ridiculous like that in what was an unbelievable sort of game and day of football, really. And footballing gods, thankfully, were on our side that day.
And then after that, we had the trip to Sporting Cowser, which we went up and it was just a professional performance that day from us.
Yeah, we were very good. Very good. Very, as you say, professional. We did what we needed to do. We didn't panic. We just did what we needed to do to get through that game, and that was a good sign in a different way.
Now, I know the final, it didn't go our way on the pitch over the 90 minutes, but what did it say about our group and how far we'd come that we put in such a good display on that day?
Yeah, I think so. I think you've got to give credit to Nottingham Forest and just how good they are. They were excellent on the day. They had some excellent players. Their movement off the ball and the way they rotated around each other, I thought was the best I had seen, and still to this day in terms of what we've seen this season. They were the best in terms of that forward movement, and it took us probably 20-25 minutes to adjust and get used to it and play against that quality. And when we did, we competed really well. It was just unfortunate that 20-25 minutes probably cost us.
And obviously, we're able to bounce back from that in good fashion to end the season in style with that 8-0 win against Cambridge. after the end of the season, we lost two long-term servants, as Katie Stanley and Rebecca Sargent both left for sort of new pastures. Can you just talk about those two players who were fantastic servants of the club?
Yeah, really, really fantastic people. Not just footballers, but just people off the pitch as well. And they gave everything. Stanners, as we know, she was technically one of the best players that we would have had in terms of being able to pick out something from nothing. And she'll be sorely missed. It was a real shame actually that in the cup final she come off injured the way she did. But yeah, we wish her all the best. And then Sarge, who's been with us pretty much from the start and before my time really, is played in pretty much every position possible, I reckon, for the club. And whether it's scoring goals with her head from corners and set pieces, or arriving in the box late as a 10 like she used to, or whether it's been able to play at centre half and keep as many clean sheets with a solid back four and to keep like she did. She's always managed to be one of the strong players in the group, or strongest players in the group.
Now, it wasn't just players. We lost Steph Cantello, our head of medical, and I think it's fair to say a big character around the group in John Parker.
Yeah, Steph obviously went off, and we wish her the best. It's probably part of our success that we talk about and things like that, where she's got a job in the WSL, and that's really a pathway not just for players but for coaches and staff, that we want to give that opportunity to move forward and progress their footballing career. So that's a really, really positive move. And then John really, yeah, he'd been with me from the start, so he was he'd part of something, and he grew and grew with us through the group, and he'd seen it move forward. And I think for him, it was just a time for him to try something different, and we'd always wish him the best. And it was, great to see him over at Fulham and chat through the game and have that brilliant day at Craven Cottage.
Now, that those two leaving did allow new people to arrive, as we welcomed Julian Kilner as our new head of goalkeeping and Lila Bram as our new head of medical. What does it say about the project that we've got going, that we were able to get people with such established pedigree in the women's game in?
Yeah, really, really positive. Again, it just shows the environment that we set up and the culture that we've got, and the people that are willing to come in. Lila is second to none. She's done it at the WSL. She's been in top academies and around top professional clubs, and we are so fortunate to have her in terms of her experience and just the way she's run the group. And then you look at Julian as a goalkeeping coach, and there's not somebody, he's been there, done it, and seen it in terms of the highest level and been part of the WSL and stuff. And he's another one actually that it's not just about his goalkeeping, but he's a real good laugh around the group. And when things are down, he's normally got a joke or two to tell to keep the spirits high.
Now, I think it's fair to say we had a busy summer when it came to recruitment. A lot of players coming in, with Emma Plua, Mia Lockett, Ellie Dorey, Becky Bath, Billy Brooks all coming in. Again, what does it say about what we're doing and the impact those players have had in their sort of 6 months or so since they all joined?
Yeah, it's like everything. When you bring in players, you want to make sure that you can keep the culture of what we do, and they're buying into that. And we bring in players that we believe will fit the mould of AFC Wimbledon and what an AFC Wimbledon player looks like. And thankfully, we've seen that right the way through the players that have come in, and all the way up to newest recruit Ella Newman coming in. They've all settled in really well.
Now, I think we couldn't talk about that summer without mentioning the Lionesses. How big is that going to be for the women's game, not just now, but also for the long-term future?
Yeah, hugely. We've seen already, just coming off the back of that, our attendances are a lot higher. A lot more people are talking about women's football, and not just the Lionesses side of it, but our level as well. And there's a lot more people into what's going on. And I think that was proven last night with Beth Mead winning the personality award, and Sarah Women winning the coaches award, and the Lionesses winning the club award. It just shows how far it's going, and it's important that it keeps on growing, and we keep on looking at how we improve all standards of women's football in terms of on and off the pitch.
Now, I think one of the highlights of the year, speaking about the youngsters and them coming through, was our youngsters continuing to break into our first team. Remy Gardner, the latest to break in. How important is that going to be for us as a club going forward, and for the group as a collective, that we do have those players coming through our youth system?
It has to happen, and it has to happen more. The players that have come through, if you look at it now, you've got Remy, who was outstanding the first part of the season, tops off with that game at Ashford where she single-handedly probably won us the game for 20, 25 minutes when she scored the goal, and she just got around players. And sadly, for her, it slowed down a little bit because she's injured and she's coming back from an injury now. But what she has been as well is so mature, and it's just such great value around the group as well. And then you still got Rosie Russell. We still talking about who's come through. You got Emily Oliver that's come through. There's players coming through that setup. We just need to keep on pushing it as much as we can.
Now, talking about our season so far, I think it's fair to say we had a bit of a shaky start to the season, but it's starting to come good, starting to build a bit of momentum.
Yeah, it was really frustrating the first two games. It was a bit odd. Obviously, the hashtag draw, we were, in my opinion, in many opinion, we were the better side. But that doesn't win you games of football, and we had that day where we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And then I don't know if it was a bit of a hangover from that game against QPR, but we had a real, it was, fair play to the QPR. They played in a way that stopped us from scoring and made it difficult, and it worked, and we looked shaky. But since then, we've been excellent. The group have come together. The group have spent more time together, and now we're on a really positive run of form.
That run of form has been sort of exemplified by a couple of incredible cup performances. Obviously, the League Cup performance, beating Cheltenham, and then putting in a good performance against Watford. Again, two teams in divisions above us. Again, how much does that say about our group?
Yeah, it's good. The performances were excellent. The Watford game, you're talking about a team that was championship last year, a team that wants to be championship again, and at the top end of the league above. And we've taken them to 118 odd minutes for them to be able to score and win a game. And we're not talking about us sitting up and defending and trying to see a game out for 90 minutes and then for extra time. The positive for us is actually we had chances, we had opportunities, and we looked, we matched them. We didn't go out there just to compete and get through the game. We went at it toe to toe, which was nice.
And then the bit of our season that's still ongoing in terms of cup competitions, the FA Cup. It's a great run so far, and hopefully still a few more rounds to come.
Yeah, hopefully we can get this game against Gillingham finally going, and who knows, the magic of the FA Cup. We'll see where we are and who we end up with after, and just go from there. But really enjoying the FA Cup run. It'd be just nice to get some games going again. And
the County Cup as well. We're still in that after that incredible win against Fulham at Craven Cottage. What was that? Yeah. What was that day like, and how important is it that we get more occasions like that?
Yeah, fair play to Fulham. They put on a brilliant day. It was really well organised. It was really well publicised. They got big numbers in there, and it was just a really, really good day. And Fulham were also very good on that day. We were just more clinical in the game, and that's football. But it was a really good spectacle. And I'm hoping we will get more at Plough Lane. I'm hoping you see more and more clubs, like I think we are, joining in and getting their women to play at stadiums.
Now, as we sort of close the book on 2022 and look ahead to 2023, what can we expect from the year ahead from the Dons?
Hopefully games of football, and we get some consistency of games of football, and we just win. We win as many as we can, and we keep going, and who knows where we'll be at the end of the season. We are in charge of our own destiny, as they say, and it's about us just trying to keep performing week in, week out, and get the results that we need.
Kevin Foster, thank you.
Thank you.